employee, you can take sick leave, you call in sick. But for the IRS program with the SCTC, for the first time, the IRS is saying, well, if you're self-employed, we're going to give you those same rights. So you can call in sick with us. And so now what we're doing is we're encouraging all of our clients to get every day that they were affected by get that information to us, and we will get your tax credit up to $32,000.
That's huge.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.
All right, guys, we got Chris Gitre on today, previous winner of my poker tournament. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolute pleasure.
I didn't know you could play like that.
I've been practicing, actually, sometimes, you make a decision to be a professional poker player. Now, not everyone can do it, right?
Yeah.
But I tried it out, so when I was at your tournament, I used those skills, applied them. Yeah.
So you wanted to be pro growing up?
Well, we used to go out to the casino when we were 18, drive out there down in Southern California.
Yeah.
And so I always took like 11 to poker. And then when you get the chance, you get a little bit of a bankroll. This is before I started my business. It's like you go out there and you try it out. You just study online. You look at all the hand histories and find out how you can be better, and you go play every day. And honestly, that really helped me when you play poker kind of for the first time in a serious aspect. You start to realize that, $1,000 isn't that much money, because if you're in that early stage of being an entrepreneur, one of the big keys is to unlock your ability to realize that money, $1,000 isn't very much money. $10,000 in the scheme of things is not very much money. And there's people above my level that think, oh, $1 million isn't very much money.
Right.
And, so when you play poker and you're having $1,000 pots, $5,000 pots, when you start to grow, and that money swings back and forth between players at the tables, you start to realize that, this isn't really that big a deal, this money. And then you can use it to your advantage because you no longer have this, kind of attachment to it, this necessity of needing it, sort of thing.
Interesting. Yeah, you probably played in some huge hands.
Yeah. The biggest hand I ever played, my favorite thing about playing poker was playing the World Series of Poker.
Yeah.
So when you get out there and you sit next to the top guys like Chance Cornuth and Jungle Man, Dan Cates, you actually can go play with those guys by playing the World Series of Poker. And that was so freaking exciting.
Yeah, I bet. You beat Dan at my game too.
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky.
You beat a good field, man. There was Cord Garcia was there, right? There was a couple pros there that had World Series bracelets that you beat.
Yeah, broken clock twice a day kind of thing. Yeah,
the humbleness, I love it, dude. Poker is also great for networking.
Oh, it's actually interesting because two of my key top employees, sometimes I go to the Red Rock, it's where Dana White goes and Elk Boys and all that.
Yeah.
It's a great casino. And sometimes, I go there and, some of my partners in my business say, well, we want you to stay home. Don't go to the casino. We're going to go once in a while. But I got to kind of get back at them because I met a key figure in my business, a guy named Billy at the Red Rock. I met him playing high stakes poker.
Wow.
And he ended up bringing on some of my best employees through introductions.
Damn.
Yeah. So then at the meetings, you can tell your partners, hey, casino, there's some, really wealthy people there, right?
Yeah, as long as you're balancing it, right? If you're not betting your whole bank account on it, then why not go for like a weekend once a month and just network and stuff, have fun?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
For fun, yeah.
I want to dive into the relief consultants, why you started it and how you've scaled it to this level, man, because you're killing it.
Yeah, man. So the relief consultants is interesting because, personally as an entrepreneur, I was a little down and out before I started the company. This is actually the beginning of So it was like March, April 2020. And I actually, interesting enough, had secured money, I guess, investment from an investor for this idea actually involving poker. So we were going to launch this new company. But that's when hit and the World Series of Poker got canceled that year. So I was sitting there and I was like, well, I had this investment secured, and the investor called me and said, hey, I got to hold off because of the market conditions, which was a big blow, And so I, really, you're sitting there after that point, you're like, what am I going to do? Because I had just worked so hard to get this. And then you come up with an idea, right? And so during they came out with all the stimulus programs.
Yep.
And when I first looked at it, there's this guy on YouTube, Meet Kevin.
Classic.
Yeah, great, fun personality. He's a finance guy.
I used to watch his stock videos.
Yeah. So on YouTube, you see him on there, And he's talking.
All right, guys, shout out to today's sponsor, Babbel. 1 in 5 Americans have learn a new language on their bucket list. If that's you, make 2024 the year you finally check it off the list. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors anymore or waste hours on other apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel has quick 10-minute lessons that are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's designed by real people for real conversations. Babbel has really helped me lock in Spanish. My fiance's family is all Latina, and now I'm able to communicate with her family members, and it's awesome. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove that Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. They have over 16 million subscriptions sold, plus all of their 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/social hour. That's babbel.com/social hour, spelled BABBEL.com/social hour. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Talking about every single stimulus program out there online. And this is, during the start of the pandemic. And at that point, it's like, well, everyone's not going to get what they should get. There's so many programs out there and people are not going to know what they should get, how much. So we started the relief consultants. And our job was to we became experts in the stimulus package, the CARES Act. We ran down every single line of that bill. And then we were able to help out Americans with getting what they deserved during. And we've transitioned, obviously it's over, right? So now our main focus is helping Americans get money that they deserve.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, people don't even know about these programs, man. You'd be surprised.
There is a program out there called the SCTC, actually, that really 5% of people that could get it got it.
Wow.
And this is like $32,000 if you're self-employed.
Yeah.
So this is a program that this is a program that if your CPA did it right, they should have claimed it on your 2020 and 21 taxes. But no one really did it, and we don't know why. We can only kind of attribute it to the CPA issue, where a lot of these CPAs have so many clients that they can't really focus individually.
Yeah. And they're older school too. A lot of them aren't on top of the trends and stuff.
So when there's kind of new money out there, they don't get it for their clients.
Dude, I had to beg mine to file it. He didn't even know about it, and he's got hundreds of clients.
How'd that go?
I had to use a new accountant, to be honest, because he just didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at this point, we're here to pick up all the slack of all the accountants. To date, we've done about $80 million in submissions for our clients.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's always great to get money back for someone. And when you have a program that's so clearly designed for self-employed individuals who had to deal with during the pandemic, if they got sick, if their kids' schools got shut down, then at that point, they couldn't work, right? So the IRS is actually willing to pay those people money every single day they couldn't work. And that's this program.
Yeah.
So typically if you're like a W-2 employee, you can take sick leave, you call in sick. But for the IRS program with the SCTC, for the first time, the IRS is saying, well, if you're self-employed, we're going to give you those same rights. So you can call in sick with us. And so now what we're doing is we're encouraging all of our clients to get every day that they were affected by get that information to us, and we will get your tax credit up to $32,000.
That's huge. And before that, you were doing ERC, right?
Yeah, ERC, big program, controversial program.
Very.
And although it's a very real credit, and so there are a lot of businesses who qualify for that credit that same situation had no freaking idea.
So many, dude.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder, where were the CPAs? Because this was a program that's been out for, the ERC and the SCTC have been out for 4 years.
Yeah.
But you see many, many people not getting it till now.
Yeah, it's an antiquated system. I think they need to figure out a way to integrate all the accountants and just have a blast, like an email blast or something.
It's from the government. The government's responsibility, I think, is also to tell the citizens about the programs.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, remember that CARES Act, remember that $600 stimulus check?
Yeah.
You heard about it all the time. It's actually because the Treasury Department was required to run a massive media campaign about that.
Wow.
That was in the bill. It was a law.
I didn't know that.
But they weren't required to do that for the other programs.
Weird, right?
So it's like, well, government, if you're going to give money out and you're going to help the American citizens, why don't just actually run some ad campaigns about that so we can all be informed? But they don't do that. And so that's why we're here, the relief consultants.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fraud in the ERC space too.
There was. And honestly, I go back to, when you have a program that's, actually they allocated $80 billion for the ERC, but they ended up paying out $500 billion.
Holy crap.
Right. So what happened there? You know,
Little 7X. That's crazy. $500 billion. They're just printing money, man. So, and I feel like there'll always be a new like thing, like whether it's a loan or a program, so your company can pivot and keep scaling.
that's the great thing is every single year there's new programs out there. There's new grants. And so what we do is we basically gather all of that information and blast it out to our clients on a monthly basis so they can be informed and they can tell their friends like, hey, there's a new credit out there, there's a new grant. And that's, you know, the good part is you get to tell other people about it and help your neighbors.
Absolutely.
And community.
Yeah, because now I'm finding out even SBA loans, the interest is super low. You could get $1 million.
Yeah, SBA loans are the best type of loan. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you got, what, 30 years to pay those off? Something crazy?
You got a decent interest rate and a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you said. And there's so many other options out there. These MCA loans, they may be helpful for some businesses, but they're going to charge 40% plus.
I took one once from Shopify. It was terrible.
And you had to pay it back every time you did a transaction?
Yeah, Shopify and PayPal, those are probably two of the biggest MCA ones, right?
Yeah. And it's a big cost for businesses, you know? So 30%, because you're looking to try to get 10% on your loan. Now, of course, the MCA is a fixed cost, but you always hate to see businesses struggle because they take poor terms for their loans.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're here to do. You know, that's why we're here. We basically help people get that money. They don't have to even pay back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've had an interesting journey finding a CTO. I'd love to dive into that.
Yes. I mean, you were in the crypto space with GB Dinos.
Yeah.
So I was also creating a platform to help influencers raise money. We called it Creatorverse. And we had a really strong idea. We had some interest from backing from venture capitalists. And it came time to bring on the CTO. We actually brought on two. And we paid them very well, like over 5 figures a month for a salary, but they could also take time off whenever they wanted, you know, full-time PTO, all that. And turns out, after 6 months of paying, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested later, the guys didn't really even know how to code.
What?
And they delivered nothing.
They didn't know how to code?
They didn't do anything, and basically our suspicion is that they couldn't because they didn't know how to. They basically didn't do anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you find them?
So, you know, one, I just, you know, used Google, and I found the top searching LinkedIn page. And I thought, you know, this guy might be, he knows what he's doing. He's got SEO on his LinkedIn. And no bueno.
Wow.
No bueno.
What a scam. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Making a fake LinkedIn and then charging $10K a month for coding.
Yep. And we knew he was doing it with like 4 or 5 other companies
No way.
at the same time.
Damn. So did you get that money back eventually?
Oh, no.
He's just gone.
He put everything in writing that, you know, he's going to pay us back, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you know, it's tough to prove those things in court. And we know that the court process takes years.
Yeah. And you
sometimes.
probably spend $100K even fighting it in court
Yep.
on legal.
Yep. And the guy, you know, that kind of guy, you can probably think he probably doesn't have much money anymore if he's scamming like that, because everyone needed a CTO during the crypto run. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's tough to kind of know who's good. If you don't know how to, if you're a CEO, if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to make something new and you're not tech savvy, there's really kind of very few ways to know unless you kind of have that network of developers who can like run a test on them.
Right.
But there's no way to know if the CTO is going to be good or developer knows what they're doing. Right.
That's
and it's
true.
a very complex skill.
It is. So did you end up finding a good one after that?
Yeah, that's the good part is we actually went out, reached out about the story. And because of that, a different developer wanted to work with us. They had heard what happened. And that was about 2.5 years ago. And this guy's with me to this day.
Wow.
And if you know, if you ever meet Travis, you know, he's incredible, works with David Schenkel, who is just crushing it on the marketing side.
Yep.
And you'll know that, you know, this guy Travis is really good. If you anything tech related you need, you can just holler our way.
Beast.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a techie on standby. So many ups with websites and whatever, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's an important hire. What other hires you'd say were really important for you to scale this thing?
Man, it's all about the consultants for my business. So we help our clients get that money back and we give that personal touch. So every single client of ours has a direct one-to-one consultant that's assigned to their case. And, you know, when you have people that are, their whole life is revolved on getting others money, they care and they have to care. If they don't care about it and it's not something that's exciting for them, then it's not going to work out as a consultant for our business.
Right.
And so, you know, when you hire a lot of people, once in a while, you get a really strong consultant, a really strong person in general when you hire. I think the whole hiring process is extremely difficult.
It is, dude. It's not easy. You've gone through a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's just hard to align, I think, when like you and I are so mission driven, and it's hard to find people like that.
What do you do to kind of get your guys aligned? What's your strategies?
Bonuses, I noticed. Because if you just give a salary, I mean, they're going to do the minimal work. So if you give them incentives, you know what I mean? Like if you do this, I'll give you like an extra 20% or take you out to a nice dinner, whatever it is, whatever level you're at. That helps a lot, I noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the incentive-based life is one we all want to live.
Yeah.
Because then you actually can care about your day-to-day life. That's why I've always been shied away from the W-2 job without any promise of equity or something like that. Just straight W-2.
Same. It wouldn't be fulfilling.
It's hard to, what's your goals there? I mean, climb the corporate ladder. I mean, that sounds like no fun, right?
Yeah, that's a different era, man. That's like our grandparents did that stuff. They stayed at the same company for like their whole life, but now it's like new company every few years.
You got like one set of people who just jump jobs like every 2 years, from tech company to tech company. It seems right, and then you have another set of people like who are entrepreneurs, who just want to be entrepreneurs their whole life, like you, like myself, and obviously there's this different makeup between those two. But there's nothing. I honestly. It's the entrepreneur life is so great.
I love it, dude. I know it's way more riskier and the odds are not in your favor. I think 95% of businesses fail after 10 years, but it's fun knowing you could wake up and do whatever you want.
Yeah, because you're like a sports guy, I feel like, as well. I see you play basketball and all that. It's like a sport.
For sure.
Yeah.
24/7. Yeah, Mark Cuban says that.
Yeah. And you just got to try to improve every day and bring your best to the table and do whatever it takes to get to your best, to bring the best to the table every day. And so it's not an easy task, and I think entrepreneurs need to do that. There's no days off for an entrepreneur.
No, I used to work literally 7 days a week, probably the first 5 years.
Yeah.
No vacation for 5 years.
And then it may not pay off immediately, but if you're doing it right and you're hitting the right sweet spot, and then after that time, a year or two, it's just going to start piling in.
Yep.
And I think both you and I have seen what it looks like to pile in on a daily basis. You're seeing 10K deposits, 20K deposits a day.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, there's people on that large level from me. I know people are doing, 30, 40 million a year in sales. So that's obviously amazing. But just seeing cash come into your account every day from the work you've done, it's just so freaking motivating.
Absolutely. Yeah. The first few years were really hard, man. That first 100K, super hard.
Where would you start?
E-commerce. So the margins are thin and you're on your own. You don't know much. And I didn't have a mentor personally. So it took 3 years. Get that first 100K profit.
What was like the breaking point, the switch for you?
So I love e-commerce. It had a lot of great things. Like I learned how to run ads, I learned branding, how to grow a following, but just the margin. So switching to more high ticket offer, like consulting or whatever, like stuff you're doing, affiliate stuff with high margin. I think that was the big switch for me. Yeah,
those high tickets prices are so great.
Yeah, I don't do anything low ticket anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because then you're dealing with tens of thousands of customers for a low ticket price.
Unhappy customers.
Yeah, I'd rather just deal with 30 customers a month.
Do a really good job for
10 Gs.
For a few dozen.
Yeah.
And then really, provide a lot of value for each one, right?
Because then you have time freedom too.
Yeah.
Like that's super important to me. Location freedom and time freedom. I want to be able to live wherever I want and do whatever I want whenever.
Yeah. I mean, also working, it's like you can vacation as an entrepreneur, right? But you also have your laptop with you.
Yeah, for sure. You're never really fully in vacation mode when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because you get that one email, you're like, babe, I gotta work for like an hour. There's always fires. People don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, payment processing holds, people scamming you.
Yeah.
People trying to bring you down.
You ever had a girlfriend work for you?
I work with my fiance, but I know what you're meaning. It's a game. It's tough.
Well, actually, one of the first people I hired, back in 2020 for the company, I was starting out, and she saw something in me, I guess, because a couple weeks later we started dating, and she's been one of my top consultants. She's brought in like a couple $1 million in sales the last few years. Wow. Great numbers for one consultant. We started dating like basically fairly quickly after, it was during right? So it's like, what else? We're gonna work and we met up because you can't really meet up with anyone else. Right, so only a few people, and it's actually really nice if you're working very closely, like for a leadership position. And actually, I think Hermosi and his wife do that.
Yeah, they crush it.
And it's actually nice to be able to have those conversations about what's going on from a client to client basis. Some client doesn't want to pay. You have that conversation at the dinner table, and like that's my love language right there. That was,
I love it.
So. I'd always recommend that for entrepreneurs, to trust, to potentially trust their significant others to work for them. It may work out, but it may not.
I feel like it usually doesn't. You got to really establish boundaries.
Yeah. I didn't really establish the boundaries there. We just talk about work all day long, honestly.
I used to do that, but it got to the point where we were work 99% and personal 1%. So I had to adjust those ratios.
Yeah. And that's why we moved out to Vegas, because
Yeah.
there's so much freaking cool stuff out here.
So much. I love it here, man.
You're from LA, right?
No, I lived there for 5 months. I hated it.
okay.
I'm from Jersey.
Oh, okay, Jersey.
Yeah.
That's where our guys are from, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I got to maybe meet them. Some of our other consultants.
Yeah, Jersey's got good people, man.
We left Southern California at the end of 21.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And I'm from there. I was born in San Diego, California, and I just can't believe what's happening over there.
Dude, I went to San Diego last year in December.
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe.
Oh, yeah, downtown?
Yeah, I stayed downtown.
It was the,
there was more
Fleischmann
homeless
event.
people walking around than normal people.
Right? That's smart. Yeah.
And they were all on some intense drug. Like, you could see it. It was crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I've been on them. Yeah. When you're around those kind of people for a long time, it actually makes you just kind of desensitized, which I think is not good for, that whole situation.
Yeah.
So now you're out here in Vegas. There's obviously a few homeless people here.
Yeah.
But for the most part, especially like in the Summerlin areas, which is where I'm usually at, it's just really nice.
Super nice. Summerlin, Henderson. You don't see many homeless in either of those two.
And you just think about it, like, what's the solution for that? Like, I've sat there, like, what could you possibly do?
Yeah, because you were actually homeless, right?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like them. You
Yeah,
talk
you
about
had a
those
car.
people. Yeah, so that's actually a really, really key point for me. Is like, it's like you can be at your lowest point in your life, but if you can focus and get your stuff together. I mean, when I was really low, don't get me wrong, I was living in my car, right? And you see YouTubers living in their car these days, so it's doable.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not that. It's obviously unsafe.
Right.
So you sleep in a parking lot. And there was like 3 to 5 weeks I had to do that.
Damn.
Right. And that was before I started my business. But it was really honestly that bottom moment that you can actually draw back on that. As an entrepreneur, when you are not in your successful place and actually let's say you are, and you can get your head warped a little bit about, okay, I'm successful. I don't remember what it's like to be super hungry. But if you had those really rough experiences, you can draw from those and help you get back into that hungry mind state as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. I think it's important to have low moments like that, because if you're just always at a mediocre level, you're never going to have that to draw back on, like you're saying, right?
Yeah, and I think Gary Vee talks about it, like people that from the rough upbringings. Those people have a drive that you just can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, immigrant mentality.
Yeah, and I appreciate the immigrants, even though what's going on at the border is pretty rough.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a political.
Yeah. Now, when you were in your car for 3 to 5 weeks, did you feel a sense of shame not wanting to tell your parents or your friends that you were in that situation?
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I think I had to like ask a friend actually who helped me get out of it for some money.
Yeah.
A couple $100 to get a room here, and you can get around a room for $400.
In Vegas?
Yeah, I think most places.
Yeah.
Yeah, in most cities you can rent.
Like $400 a month, you're saying?
Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah, probably on Airbnb.
And that reminded me, that was actually 2019,
Oh, wow.
and that was Craigslist.
Craigslist.
No one would use Craigslist.
You could have ended up in a trailer somewhere.
Yeah, so once you kind of scrounge up a little bit of money, you just got to get that starting point, because you get that rent. And then from there, I had a laptop, you can leverage what you got to keep growing. And man, it's just about keep grinding until you find a good idea, and then you just invest in that idea.
Crazy, man. From there to nearly doing $100 million in revenue 5 years later is unreal, dude.
I just love the fact that, entrepreneurship can bring you to those kind of heights,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have any goals, missions you're trying to really get at this year, next year?
So we want to help our clients do another $100 million this year, and we want to keep growing that as well. I got to tell you, actually, so there's a lawsuit I actually just got settled with.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Gitre versus Ewing.
Ewing?
Ewing, yeah. So this guy, actually, we called him just to inform him about ERC. Someone actually told us, hey, this person's interested about ERC. You should give him a call.
Yeah.
One of my guys, Tyler, gave him a call. He acted like he wanted to work with us and do business with us. However, the next day, I got an email from the guy saying, you've just been served a federal lawsuit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For what?
It turns out his number had been on the do not call list.
Oh.
And he sued us for $1 million from that one phone call.
No.
Yes.
For being on the do not call list?
with the one phone call.
Dude, I could have sued so many companies for that. I'm on that list.
And that is what we want to actually offer our clients in the next few years, is we want to offer a streamlined process to sue the telemarketer violations.
Oh, to sue him?
To sue the people who are cold calling and spam calling all the Americans.
Because he was probably so fed up. He's gotten spammed and he just took it out on you guys.
That guy Ewing, he is a serial litigator. So that's all he does for his whole life.
I've run into a few people like that.
All he does is sue for the telemarketer violations, and he sues for $1 million, and he settles for $15K. and he just needs to get 10 done a year and he lives in San Diego, actually.
Yeah.
To afford to live in that city, and you make $150K, so he does 10 a year.
I can never make money like that, dude.
That's what he does. So
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, maybe some people here have, and you guys have like experienced this, but like you get spam calls.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur every day, right?
Yeah.
I get like 10 a day.
Same. And I'm on the DNC list too.
And they're annoying. I haven't done my phone blocking yet. So what I'm trying to say is like, I get a lot of calls from my clients and from referrals, and I don't know their numbers. Mm-hmm. So when I get a spam call from a random number, I have to answer it. Mm. So I have to answer these guys every single time.
That's annoying.
And
yeah, I don't even
MCA.
answer. If I don't have the number saved, I literally don't answer.
Yeah. Okay.
But I see the voicemail and it's always like a spam. But yeah, just
must be nice.
I got hit with the TCPA when I was in college, dude.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with this.
What happened with it?
Dude, I mean, other than me having panic attacks every day, I had to settle. But if I didn't settle and it went to court, it would have been $500 for every text sent.
Yep.
And I sent, I think, thousands. So
Ooh.
I would have been bankrupt.
So you settled?
Yeah. If I didn't settle, I would have lost the whole company and my finances would have been a wreck.
So,
and that was from a Shopify app that was based in India that would text people when they abandoned their cart. They weren't compliant with TCPA.
Wow.
So learned my lesson from that, man.
Yep. And so, that leads to the question is, do you think that people should be sued if they do the robo dials 20 times a day for one person? Like, that sort of thing.
If they're on the DNC list, I could see a case for it, right? But if not, it's just business.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I run lead ads on Facebook, but the thing is, I don't know if those numbers are on the DNC list. So do you have to manually check?
There's a way, and I'm happy to share it with you. It's a website where you can cross-reference your lead list. It'll automatically tell you and kick out the DNCs. It'll also point out the serial litigators. There's like a list of 700 of them across the country.
I need that. Does the DNC also apply to text?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to definitely run. Yeah, we'll talk after this. Yeah, those serial litigators, man. I think I ran into one with my case.
Do you think it's a moral thing to do, like, let's say, like, as a business, to help a lot of other people, like Americans who are dealing with that, to actually help them sue the companies easily, like, to provide a service?
Sue which companies?
The telemarketers, if they're on the DNC.
Yeah, I think it would help, right? Because, I mean, it's not ethical.
It's not ethical?
If you're calling people on the DNC list, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Is that what you're doing?
We are building that process up to start offering that, because those are $15,000 settlements. Mm-hmm. So if I can get any person, I can basically, our goal is to say, hey, you're getting spam calls, yes or no? They say yes. Okay, we're going to get you on the DNC. You got to be on there for 31 days. And if they call you after that, then we sue them. Call us back in 31 days. And when the person calls you, you get this information from them, and then we will facilitate the lawsuit, and you'll get a check in like 5 months.
Interesting.
And you can do that over and over.
Sounds pretty streamlined, right?
But I've got a lot of I've got some pushback about, like, it's not ethical. Like, it's like you're hurting those small businesses that are doing the cold calling.
I could see it from both points of views.
Because they're just trying to, do business. They're just trying to just make money.
Yeah, it depends how they're getting the leads, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes down to. But if they're running ads, spending their own dollars on the leads, I think they deserve to call them.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they have the proper disclosures. Like, when I run leads, I'm pretty sure it says this number will be texted. And there's a checkbox, and they agree to it.
Yep.
So they know they're going to be contacted.
But what's happening is that there's these lists of leads that get, in some industries, they get spread around.
Yeah, that's where
and then, like, everyone, you start getting calls from like 30 people. You're like, how the heck did that happen?
Yeah. That's where it's annoying, because I know what you mean. I've signed up for like car insurance, and I'll get called from like 20 different companies. God. I'm like, damn.
So I guess it's illegal if you're on the DNC, though.
Yeah. Interesting. Well,
so if you're, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, 20 companies are calling you, $15K. Was that 300,000 if we get all 20?
Keep me posted, man. I'll fill out applications all day and see who contacts me.
Yeah.
That's funny. Anything you're working on next?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm working on next. I think it's just actually that.
Okay.
Dude. That's like, well, because right now SCTC, that's the self-employment tax credit.
That ends next year, right?
That ends in 2025.
Okay.
So there's like a shelf life. So yeah, we always got to have the next thing in the chamber.
Yeah.
But right now it's all in on SCTC. We're bringing on consultants at 10s at a time. So we're bringing out 10 consultant groups. We teach them up. We teach them how to make a lot of money from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they work for us and then they make, multiple six figures if they're doing a good job. Great job for someone who wants to, really grind. And then, basically just getting the word out to everyone. Hey, if you're self-employed during you could qualify up to $32,220 and no one knows about it and no one got it.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the description. I think that'll help a lot of people, man. Yeah. Anything else you want to close off with?
No, just thanks for bringing me on, Sean. Absolutely love what you're doing for the city of Las Vegas and the entrepreneurs around here, man.
Thanks, man. Means a lot. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for watching, guys, as always. See you next time.